everyone, welcome back to Stay Shinin with Diamond. I'm your host, Diamond Holly, and this is my dad.
Hey everyone.
And we're back with another video. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're not new here, welcome back to the channel.
And please subscribe.
Yes, and be sure to subscribe and like this video. Okay guys, today we're going to be talking about setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is so freaking important. And today we just want to share some things, some tips, some advice on how we set boundaries in our own life and all that jazz. Now, setting boundaries is important because it's a form of self-care, and it's basically the guideline and the rules of how you want to be treated and lets others know how you want to be treated. Also, it's like when you set boundaries, when you don't set boundaries, you lose sight of yourself and you just lose respect. And I don't know, would you agree with that? Like,
I would agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So I just want to go over on how to set boundaries today.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, so my first thing is clearly identify your boundaries. Now, for me, like in my own life, when I had a friendship or friendships with somebody, I would take something that I didn't like and look at that experience and be like, okay, I'm not setting a boundary here, okay? Or I would be like, okay, I don't like this. I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't like how this person is talking to me. But in the past, I would just let it slide and like not respect myself. Like I just let it slide. Like, so I feel like once you have an experience and once you sit down with yourself and realize and just like think, okay, what do I not like in this relationship, in this friendship, and like come up with some boundaries. It makes everything easier.
Yeah, people set boundaries with me all the time.
But
sometimes you got to set boundaries, and you got to know when boundaries are being set for you.
Oh, that's a good one too.
And acceptance of those boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on the other side, you know what I mean. So
Right. But just sit down and just like think, okay, what needs to change? Like what needs to change here? Because there's always going to be something. Like you're not going to have like a perfect friendship or relationship with somebody. Like you have to set boundaries. You know, if that makes sense. Also, there are many types of boundaries to set. Like, there's physical boundaries. There's what else?
yeah, I'm like one of those people that's like one arm's distance. Don't get in my space.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a boundary that people
that's just
that you
in
have
general.
to set.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just,
like usually when you're having friendship too, or like when you're out and about, like and I know in my friendship, some of my friends did not like to be touched. Like that was their boundary. Like you know what I mean? So like you just kind of have to like identify what boundary it is. Also, yeah, physical touch is a boundary. What else is a boundary?
What you allow people to say to you.
Yeah.
I think people got to recognize that you just can't say anything to some people.
Exactly.
And think it's going to fly. I mean, the lack of respect, the fact that people are even going to say some of these things is absurd.
Right. Yeah. And like, that's another good one. Like, I remember having a friend back then, like, she would use the word retarded a lot.
Oh, that's an awful word.
And growing up, we never used that word.
No.
We there's people in our family who are disabled, and like that was just a really triggering word for me. And so in that friendship, like for her it was joking wise, and she was like, she would say that to her friends, but I would let her know like, we ain't playing that here, like we don't do that. And so that was a boundary, and at first she was like, that's like the dumbest thing, like that's the dumbest boundary, you know. But like you have to like everything means something to somebody. You can't just be saying shit, you know what I mean?
You can't say anything out of your mouth and think that it's just gonna fly just because you've been rolling with somebody, and especially just because that's just foul. Like they don't have respect for themselves, that they just come out the mouth and start saying stuff like that. I had a friend that used to always use the N-word all the time. And I used to just be like, come on, man.
It's funny with the N-word because sometimes, like back in the day, like I know a lot of black people, we just like let that shit slide because we're just like, you know, you look the goofy. Like we're just gonna sit back. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Like you're the one that looks goofy. But like, you know, nowadays it's just like now it's really not tolerated. Like black people, we don't let that slide anymore, which I like. I like that a lot.
That, you can't, like I said, allow the disrespect. You gotta know what your boundaries are.
Facts. But yeah, like words.
Tone is even.
Tone.
You know,
that was another
tone
thing.
Matters. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Tone matters because I am the type of person, like, I get called angry black women a lot. And, like, I get called just, like, you know, things that relate to the angry black women. Just because I'm really firm. And so, but I do work on my tone more, because when I am setting a boundary, I don't want that. My message needs to be heard when I'm setting that boundary. Like, if I let my tone or me, like, getting a little upset or yelling within me setting that boundary, it just disrupts the whole message, and it doesn't come off like how I want it to go. So it's just like, tone is very important. And when you're kind and have a great, successful approach, it's easier to be direct. Yeah. But some people aren't able to take that directness good. Like, everybody's so different. It's so hard. Like, it's kind of hard talking
depending on who you're dealing with. You know, you gotta be able to pivot and shift a little bit depending on who you're dealing with. So sometimes you gotta level down, sometimes you gotta level up to who you're dealing with and who you're talking to.
Right. So, that's what I kind of hate. Like,
you gotta dumb it down sometimes.
I was watching a podcast, and like earlier this week, and I was like, damn, that really is true. Like, you can't really be yourself at all times around people.
Well, I think you can be yourself.
Like, you can, but you have to, like, change the way you
approach them. Yeah. You know, everybody has a different set of boundaries, the way they want to be approached. Yes. So it's just that you have to learn that and basically maneuver the correct way around that.
Yeah. But what I'm, like, trying to say, like, I hate having to, like, dumb myself down or having to not fully be who I am around certain people in certain environments. Like, that makes me so mad. That's like an ick of mine. Like, I want to be myself all the time, and like, I hate that. Like, we have to morph in some settings. You know? That's just a workaround that you have to deal with in life. Yeah, it's nothing you can do. Right. I kind of hate that though.
It's 8 billion approaches to doing something. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, very much that. Next is never apologize and never explain yourself. Like, I'm the type of person, like, I am never going to explain myself. Like, I'm only going to explain myself to God. Like, I'm
one of those people who over elaborate. I explain too much, and I think
that was you in the past.
No, like, no, that's me now.
You're not like that anymore. Well, you don't like that anymore.
Well, like, I still am. It's just that I don't. Everybody ain't gonna listen to it. So there's no point in even saying.
People tune out.
I still say it inside of my head, all the stuff that I want to say, but I just don't even give it out anymore because it's just too much.
Yeah, but like, I never explain myself. I just don't feel like I need to, because you don't need to, because you already know within yourself. So there's no point of explaining it to somebody. It's just like wasting your time, honestly, because people don't listen anyway. Like, people ain't trying
I had a buddy of mine. She always wanted. She always was asked more questions, and I'm like, why would you keep asking more questions? I kind of gave it the first time around,
like, just keep it at
and
that.
I'm like, where are you going with it? And I'm trying to figure out why we even having the conversation of the why. I'm just like, oh geez.
I honestly, okay, this is kind of off topic, but like, I hate it when people are like, people who ask things. How do I even word it? Like, people who, you're having a conversation with somebody, right? But they keep asking you stuff just to like test you or like try to test your character. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I hate that shit.
I don't like that either.
Like, that bugs me.
I know. Like, why? See, once again, that's them trying to get somebody else trying to get you to over explain yourself
or get you out of your character.
Exactly.
Like, that shit is
and
really
take you
weird.
Off of the actual topic of what we were talking about in the first place.
That stuff is so weird. Like, I hate when people do that stuff. Like, just leave people be.
Well, I always talk about the distractors and the detractors.
Yeah, that's what kind of like, it sucks with people. And
sometimes. That's why you have to set boundaries, because that's why it's so key.
Exactly.
So you don't even have to go down that whole rabbit hole.
Right. And it's just like, for me, like, I'm like, I hate when people, I've had even friends like this year, like, try to come into, what I got going on and be like, just try to do the most.
Yeah.
Just try to do the most and just, basically take me out of my character and what I have going, and like try to change my mind on shit. I'm just like, like, just leave.
Somebody gave me great advice. They said you should stop your podcast and put it on a pause for a while. That's like awful.
Like, why would somebody tell me that? Okay, yes, somebody did tell me that this year.
That don't even make no sense.
Yeah, and then I was upset about it. Obviously, I told
you actually gave it too much thought.
I did. I give a lot of things a lot. I'm an overthinker, guys. So, but I did give it too much thought. I was just like, Dad, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, you're doing everything. I was
like,
right.
Dad, should I take a break?
No.
Am I doing the right thing?
Stick to the plan.
But that's like those people, like they just try to get you off your shit, and it's just that sucks. But
once again, that's what boundaries are good for.
Yes.
And that's why I don't give more in a conversation than I need to, because
I stopped doing that shit.
It's just for on deaf ears.
Right.
It's just like I said, a rabbit hole of why, you know, just ruffling your feathers, and then sometimes you even build up anxiety after having had to think about all the potential questions and concerns that other people have.
Right.
When it's not even yours, it's just like,
Right. Or another thing, when like I already elaborated on something and they're like, I feel like there's more. Like, what else are you not saying? I'm like, bro, don't try to push things out to people. Like, don't try to get things out of people. If they don't want to say, like, if they don't want to explain to you, then just let it be. Like, people, that's another thing with boundaries. Like, people do not respect that at all. No. Like, that is just bad. Like, just let people be, guys. Just don't explain yourself. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm done talking. Like, what's next? Sometimes you have to be and
now
that.
I'm at the point where I don't even talk anymore. Now I just accomplish some stuff, and then I'll be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's all you get out of me. But nobody, you didn't tell me you were even working on it. Well, you know, that's just...
What I gotta do all that for?
So you can try to shoot me down the whole time I'm trying to rise? Like, no.
Exactly.
I basically see a goal in sight, and I basically tackle it. And then I'll let people know about it when it's all over. Facts.
And just like, that's basically that. But just like, never explain like yourself too much. If you're done talking, be done talking. And the other person doesn't understand that, they'll be like, yo, I shouldn't have to repeat myself. Because, I don't know, people are so annoying when it comes to that. But anyways, next is trusting your intuition. Because we all have like... obviously we all have feelings, and we all like, if something happens like between you and a friend or like your partner or whatever, and you get a gut feeling and you know you're supposed to speak up, or you know you're supposed to change how this is going, but you don't, you're just like sabotaging the situation, and you're like prolonging the situation too. So that's why it's always important to trust your gut. If you have something to say then and there, get it off your chest. Like, let the other person be known. And in the past, for me, like, that was a problem, like, for me, because I wasn't upfront a lot. Like, I would just let things go for a long time.
I let things simmer also.
Yeah, when I know this other person can feel it, I know I'm supposed to be speaking up about it.
Well, for me, I just, I'm the king of avoidance of a lot of things. I don't like to stress about anything. So my goal is to not talk about it or, deal with it. I feel like I always just get past it if I put little nuggets out there and just like chip away at things. But a lot of times you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and
most of the time
and let it be known. So
exactly, that's where I go wrong. Maybe that's where I get it from. Because like, I don't know, in my past friendships I just would not say anything, but it never worked out for me saying anything.
A lot of times when people don't say anything, it's just like they have enough respect for other people.
Exactly. That
they
is me.
hope that these other people
they never
jump on board
it never does,
do what they're
though.
supposed to do.
It never does really change, though. You just really...
People basically give them enough rope, they hang themselves.
Yeah. So it's just definitely always say what you want to say right then and there, and don't let things go on for a long time.
And the other thing with boundaries, you can't take it personal, either on the giving end or the receiving end. You know what I mean? Boundaries are just basically establishing how you want to be treated and how the other person should treat you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what's so wrong with that?
Right.
You know
and a lot of people do take that people get twisted up about it, and I'm just like, it doesn't have to be that serious. Like,
it was a conversation. We learn from the mistakes. We move on.
Exactly. It's never that deep. It's never
it's
that
growth.
deep.
You know what I mean?
It's growth, and like you should be able to have those conversations, those tough conversations with anybody that you care about or love in your life. You know, it just needs to happen. Also, like with tough conversations, like people do try to avoid those hard conversations, but it makes the friendship, the relationship, the partnership, the team stronger. And without those conversations, you can't grow.
Yeah, no.
Like things can't grow.
And I'm the one who's the type of person that tries to avoid, like I said, avoid all those conversations. But eventually, you just have to actually just address the stuff.
Yeah.
Put it on the schedule and just like really face,
right, because not everybody is like that. Like people get anxiety. Like I get anxiety if things are avoided. I overthink.
Well, a lot of people do.
So it's just like that does not help me. Like
but for me, I'm just like I understand other people overthink, but I got nothing to do with that. That's them overthinking. You know what I mean? And if they want to be the captain of assumption, that's them.
Never,
you know
never that.
I mean? Like, so for me, I'm going to stew on it. And then when I'm ready to address, I address.
Yeah.
So.
Dad, oh my God. But it's just like, it just depends on what it is also. It depends on what it is. And I don't know, when you're talking to people,
whether it's emotional, financial, physical, or, intellectual, you just got, like I said, set.
So basically lastly is understand why you need to set that boundary. Obviously, it needs to sit right with you. At the end of the day, you need to feel affirmed, you need to feel reinsured, and you need to feel satisfied that everything in your life is going great and all your relationships and friendships are going great. And without setting those boundaries, you feel unsure, you feel like just rocky. So and also it's never too late to set boundaries in your friendships and relationships and all that. It's never too late. Like one thing for me, I would always think to myself like, oh my God, it's too late for me to speak up because we're already doing this. Like we're already in this. We're already deep in this friendship.
I can honestly say, if you were 3 years into a relationship, if the partners decide that they needed to take a break to get perspective and clarity, then I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm all for taking a pause of your friends, taking a pause of a situation that's like I said, financially or whatever.
That's never a bad thing either.
And just taking a pause from that and just taking a step back and reflect.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you can come back to the table, renegotiate your terms, which are your boundaries.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you guys can work in an effective manner.
I feel like when you say that, like, it's okay to take breaks with people. Like, it's okay to have time for yourself. Like, sometimes, at first, like, growing up, I was like, oh my God, I need to have, like, I would never even think of breaking from people, like, taking breaks from people. Like, that was not even in my mind or at all. But it's so needed as you grow up, like, any point in your life, like, there needs to be a month, a week, like just a couple months where you are separated from what you're usually used to.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's a good point, what you're usually used to. Yeah, because, when you come back to the table, you have the hindsight to know if you want to do that.
Yeah.
If that's all those things or those factors or what factors you want to include or which ones you want to get rid of.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, Yeah, I think that's actually, I mean, sometimes if you got to take a quarter off of the year, you know what I mean? Depending on.
It really be like
just
that.
Just to get change in your life, you got to do something different.
Right,
The definition
clarity.
of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and not getting any better results.
Mm-hmm.
So
like,
change it up.
I couldn't imagine, like, just running all the time, like, going all the time, like, friends and life and work and all this, like, 12 months of the year and not have at least 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 months to myself, like in my own bubble. And you know, like that's a boundary too.
Well, it's hard to fill up other people's cups if your cup is kind of empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you need to have something to fill up your own cup first, and then you can fill up other people's cups.
But people get like nervous. People get scared of going out of that. And, and it's hard to tell people, how am I going to...
Well, this is what's going to happen. It's one or two things.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Either you're going to basically get back together, everything's going to work itself out, and it's going to be all dandy.
Yeah.
And the other option is basically you guys are going to decide to part ways because, it's, you know, from perspectives are different.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's nothing wrong with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... You have to be brave enough to accept whatever's going to come for you.
You have to have courage and definitely be brave. But at the end of the day, you're doing what's best for you, your mental health, your state of mind, all that, your life.
And that other person's mental health.
Right. Like, they might not
two sides to every story.
Exactly. Like, they might not think that they need that.
Yeah, and the other person might think it's you. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so... That's why it's so important. When you're dealing with people, it is so hard. It's just hard. Like, even, you know, with family, like, sometimes it gets hard with us, but we're just like, it's just that, you know, it takes the conversations, it takes the moments away, it takes those little things that we all need to do. That's hard to do, but we have to do it to get better.
Communication and basically knowing what the end game is, the end goal. You know what I mean? So once you communicate, you can work toward those different things to get to where you want to be.
Right. And I saw a quote I reposted on Instagram the other day, but it was just like, it really is, like, everything in life really is that deep. Like, your friendships, like, your health, and, like, what you say, what you eat, like, everything really is that deep. Like, it means a lot. Like, everything has an end goal. Like, it's just, you have to have an end goal with this person. You have to have an end goal, obviously, with your goals, your dreams, and what you want to do with life. It really is.
Yeah, not how people plan out in your life. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
If
it really is that serious.
If they don't have a space in it, then you got to know and be aware and keep it moving.
But before, I would just be
you want to carry everybody on your back.
Yeah, before, you know, I didn't care. I was just like,
everybody get on board.
Well, they're not like me. Like, we're not the same. But, like, that's my friend. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But it really is that deep. Like, it does mean a lot who you have on your team. Like, I used to tell my dad, like, when I had bad friends in my life, or I would tell him, you know, we're nothing alike, but that's my girl. Like, that's
and I used to feel bad because I used to have a bunch of people that I was nothing alike. And I used to have these people around me not achieving anything, and I was just like, okay, once I shook all that off, and I was just like, okay,
obviously,
I'll just rock with myself.
Right.
And then I was just like, when you did it, and I was just like, well, she's going to end up bouncing and rocking with herself once you get rid of all the bumps.
Yeah.
You know, it's only so much dead weight you can carry.
Right. And that shit breaks you. Breaks you. But it really is that deep who you have in your life. Like, you can't just have, like, anybody. Like, you really can't.
My brother told me a long time ago, he says, take some successful people, look at their circle of 6, and then you can see who the weakest person on their team is. And if the weakest person is a millionaire, then, you know, and, you know, if you take yourself and now you put yourself in that circle, now if you're the weakest person and you around all these other people, you're going to eventually gravitate up to that, to that same level. So
and so
so you're only as weak as the weakest link in your team. So it's up to the whole circle to basically bring everybody up to make them equal and unilateral.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much that. But, like, everything in life is that deep. Boundaries are so important. Like, set boundaries when you're young. Like, in high school, set boundaries. If you're in high school, set boundaries. If you're in middle school, set boundaries. If you're a grown adult, set boundaries. Like, at any age, we should be setting boundaries because, again, it helps us feel like satisfied within ourselves that we are on the right track. Like I know when all my boundaries are set, and I know when everything is like set in my life, whether it be this or that, at the end of the day, when I let my head down, I feel complete because everybody and everything is on board, and that's how you want to feel, you know. So yeah, setting boundaries and like really analyze every part of your life. I know that we're like talking about like boundaries and people in your life, but it all ties in together. Like everything ties in. You know what I mean?
Self-help. You know what I mean?
Take
care
self-care.
Like, you know what I mean? Mind, body, and soul is what this is all about.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you got to take care of your mind. You know, got to clear all that clutter out.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your soul. You got to get rid of all these demons around you.
But,
you know, and you got to make sure you take care of your body, which is the vessel that holds all of these wonderful things that helps you navigate through this universe.
Exactly. I also saw somebody post on Instagram, like they were getting their hair done, or like they were having like a maintenance day but calling it self-care. I'm like, y'all, that is not self-care. Like getting your hair done, getting your feet done, like getting your nails, that's not self-care. That's maintenance.
That's preventive maintenance.
That's
right?
like maintenance.
That's just like me taking my car to my Mercedes to the car wash, you know, making sure she get all washed up.
Right, that's not.
But you got to make sure those insides.
Right, like self-care is boundaries. Self-care is like, what else is self-care? Meditating. Self-care is
connection.
Yeah, connection, reflection, all that. Like, yeah, not maintenance and stuff. Like, I think people are getting that confused. Because I want to slide up and be like.
That's basically everybody.
But that's what people be thinking, like
sitting up thinking that if they just paint the outside of them,
yeah,
you know what I mean, that's gonna make their insides great,
right?
Like
but that's so backwards.
No,
it's all.
If you still go back home to a toxic relationship, if you still go out with toxic friends, if you still go back to a toxic workplace, none of that was for nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's not
you
self-care.
Basically just polished all the dust off that beautiful Mercedes. And then you ran back into the same garage.
Exactly.
With all the clutter.
It's just like a loop. You're putting yourself through a loop again. Like
clean out your house, not your car.
Yeah. But like you're just putting yourself in a loop, and God, He will put you through lessons 1,000 times until you get it.
Yeah, you keep going over and over again on some lessons if you don't figure that stuff out.
Right. So that's why self-care is inner and not outer. That's maintenance.
That's actually, I've never really thought about that, but that's actually a really great point.
Yeah.
I
think people forget that.
Yeah.
And like people who aren't familiar with actual self-care and aren't familiar with going deep within themselves, they look at the outer as self-care, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff that you do to your exterior makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good for a moment.
Right.
But what we're talking about is basically cleaning out that long term. You know what I mean? So you feel great for a long period of time.
Inside.
Not just for a brief moment.
Right. So I know like self-care and like, mind, body, soul, it's kind of like, it's not scary, but it's like, it's deep. Like this shit is actually deep, guys. And like some people are afraid to get that deep, but it's just like at the end of the day, it's the best thing you can do for you if you want a better life, if you want a better outcome and everything. Like you have to go deep. You have to try to go deep with yourself and other people so things can flourish. And it's scary, but it's worth it, and it makes you feel better. Like having courage is a strong thing. And I feel like people look at courage like, no, courage is a strength. And you are a strong person if you have courage.
And when you think about it, if I had a choice, would I rather choose fear or courage?
Right.
I'm not much of a fan of being fearful of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like one of those people that either you go over it, you go under it, you go through it. That's what it is.
Right. So never let anybody, talk you backwards or put fear into your mind or make you think that, your boundaries they don't matter, or what you like, just what you go for doesn't matter. It matters. We all are different. We all matter, and it's important to just respect people and respect people's boundaries, respect how they live, respect how they think, and if it doesn't align with you.
But what's most important, folks, just explore your boundaries.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Most importantly, just explore your boundaries. Yeah.
If you haven't done it before, just look into it, please, for us.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you will find some things that you're going to be like, you're going to have some total aha moments.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
But at the end of the day, you need to sit down and reflect. That's all you got to do. It's hard, it's scary, but it's worth it. And it makes you a better person. And we want to be better each and every day, each and every moment. So
feels good.
Yeah. Okay, to end this episode off, we are going to talk about our I'm trying to think of a name for it. With
the feature of our
Black History Month special.
The featured person of our Black History Future Present.
Yeah. Special.
Heritage Month.
We'll have a name for it probably next
all
week.
of them inclusive.
Okay, but today's person that we're highlighting, oh my gosh, today's person that we're highlighting is Esther Roll. She was the first woman to receive the NAACP. Did I say it right?
The NAACP.
Okay, NAACP Chairman's Civil Rights Leadership Award to raise the image of Black people. Dad, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, you know what? If y'all don't know who Esther Rose is, basically Florida Evans off of Good Times. So all you remember is James, damn. That's all she used to say. But it was a unique show about African American people, and it was basically they were in a situation where you think you would not thrive, survive, or make it through a day in this kind of situation, and they made this look easy and it made you feel that you could get through whatever you was going through if they can get through what they was going through.
Yeah.
And so it kind of inspired you to never give up. You know what I mean? And to see a whole show full of Black folks like that, and it was
this is in
so
the 70s. Inspiring, actually.
You know what I mean? This was like 1978 or 77 kind of show. So.
Because the shows be negative, like if it's like Black people, like it's them in that type of situation, but being negative about it.
It would normally be negative, but luckily they were all able to thrive and survive, and for the times and the conditions that they were in, most people would probably have gave up a long time ago. Yeah, you know what I mean. So basically, her role, her character, a lot of the different because that show was a spinoff from another show. And so she actually had been doing this whole acting thing for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she got, and the NAACP is basically the national...
It is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
So basically...
Civil rights organization in the United States.
They recognized her to raise the image of a Black woman actor.
Yes, which is extremely important because we already don't have that great image of a Black woman or a Black man. And
she's very highly educated.
Right. So her making that change and it's extremely incredible.
I mean, she was the type of person that inspired the Oprahs of the world.
Yeah.
The people who came before Oprah and the Rihannas and stuff of the world.
Exactly. So yeah, that was our person of the week.
Week, month. We appreciate everything she did.
Yeah. Okay, guys, but that basically concludes today's episode. Thank you guys so much for supporting Stay Shinin' with Simon. And make sure you guys check out our website, diamondhighlightproductions.com. We have some new arrivals. We have some new merch. We have some new videos. Diamond's Corner is coming out soon, so stay tuned for Diamond's Corner Season 3. I'm so excited. What else?
You know what? I think we've covered it for this week.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because we got some things for y'all coming.
We will see you guys next week. So you stay shining and make sure you check out our merchandise on diamondhighlightproductions.com.
Bye, guys.
And please subscribe and like this video.
Yes, subscribe and like and stay shining.
And at the end of the videos, check out me with some insightful thoughts.
Yes, because the credits, y'all. The credits. Okay, love you guys so much and happy Black History.
something real near and dear to my heart. Just in this year, in the last 5 weeks of this year, 2023, there has been one. So please make sure you're paying attention. They're not really giving this information out on the news. They don't really want to, scare America. That the fact that the bigger companies are really laying people off. But please be mindful. Make sure you do a couple different things. Stack those 3 to 6